Ferrari are the closest they've been to winning a world championship of any variety since 2008 when they last won the Constructors' Championship. To do so, they'll have to overhaul McLaren's 36-point lead in the team championship. It's far from an easy job, and the kind of one that Ferrari have become famous for failing at. But under Fred Vasseur's leadership, this isn't the same flaky team of the last decade, and in Las Vegas, they will begin their final assault with some huge changes. Today, I'll cover the risky upgrades that Ferrari are bringing to try and take a first championship in 15 years, so don't go anywhere. We're now entering the endgame of the 2024 F1 season with 3 straight weekends of racing, culminating in Abu Dhabi for the season finale. When this season started, no one thought it would go this far. After Verstappen had won 4 of the opening 5 races and only missed the clean sweep due to a brake failure in Australia, everyone thought we were in for a repeat of 2023. He'd been so dominant that season that it seemed almost impossible that any team would overturn that advantage. But here we are, 8.5 months later, and the only reason Verstappen has won in the last 11 races is because of his sheer brilliance in some truly abysmal conditions. That one win has been enough to win in the Drivers' Championship though. Yes, mathematically, Norris and even Leclerc could still take that title, but even the most fervent of fans have given up hope at this point. Verstappen's bad run of results might not matter for the individual title, but it definitely has impacted the team title. The Constructors' Championship is still wide open, with McLaren currently in the lead on 593 points, Ferrari 36 points behind on 557, and 13 points further back are Red Bull on 544. Considering Red Bull's performance, which hasn't been fantastic in Max's case and has been apocalyptically bad in Perez's case, they are completely out of that fight, despite only being 49 points off the lead. While there are only 2 teams left standing at the climax, the Constructors' Championship has ebbed and flowed wonderfully this season. Mercedes even threatened to join the chase with 3 wins in 4 races over the summer, before collapsing to the point that Toto Wolff called Lewis Hamilton washed. So what's still up for grabs? Well, each team has the potential to claim a maximum of 44 points on a regular race weekend. That's 25 going to the winner and 18 to the driver that finishes second, and an extra point available for the fastest lap of the race. That's what'll be on offer in Las Vegas and at the season finale in Abu Dhabi. But in Qatar, there are 15 more points available for each constructor, with 8 points going to the sprint winner and 7 to the second place finisher. It's impossible for McLaren, or any other team for that matter, to seal the title in Las Vegas, as they would need to be 104 points clear of their rivals at the end of the weekend. Even if McLaren claimed a 1-2 and Ferrari left Vegas empty-handed, the gap would still only be at 80 points ahead of the Qatar Grand Prix. Though if Mercedes are planting dodgy water main covers on the track to try and wipe out Ferrari again, that could be the state of the championship at the end of this weekend. I joke, of course. Toto Wolff would never plan to sabotage his rivals in the Constructors' Championship. He would just deny them the chance to avoid the grid penalty from repairing the damage caused after the monumental F-up by the Las Vegas Grand Prix that almost saw Carlos Sainz get split in 2 by a dinner plate-sized piece of metal. Anyway, McLaren won't be expecting that to happen. They'll be expecting to fight Ferrari for podium positions this weekend, and the perfect outcome for them is to not let the gap at the top of the Constructors' Championship close. For Ferrari, they just have to ensure that they outscore McLaren. Keep the pressure on, take the points you can, and wait for McLaren to make a mistake. We saw in Sao Paulo that when the pressure is on, Norris can cave. If Ferrari keep closing the gap and avoid the tactical calamities that they have become famous for in recent years, then they can finally end 15 years of failure and reclaim the spot they believe is rightfully theirs, the title of Formula One's best team. Before I talk about how they're going to do it and the risky upgrades which might help, if you enjoy the content we make here at F1 Reverse and want to see more of it, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot. So the Las Vegas Grand Prix offers a unique challenge for the teams. Run late at night or the early hours of the morning last year, the track is very cold. They might be in the Mojave Desert, but the early forecast suggests that the temperatures could be in single figures all weekend. Formula One's coldest ever race belongs to the Canadian Grand Prix of 1978, where the temperature got as low as 5 degrees centigrade during the Grand Prix. It seems unlikely that it will get that cold in Vegas, but even single-figure temperatures require a huge amount of changes to be made to the cars. Ferrari have been planning for this and have been using the limited number of computational fluid dynamic tests, or CFD, to determine how best to approach the race. The assumption is that considering how long the big straight is in Vegas, a setup similar to the ones used in Monza are the best to go with. Teams want as little downforce as possible to get the maximum top speed, but Vegas presents a problem. If you run the minimum downforce as you would in Monza, you'll have a difficult task in making the tyres work at their best. That's true of both how quickly they get them into the ideal operating temperature range, but also in trying to keep them within those values. Now, last season was a complete unknown, with the teams having absolutely no data on how the track would run and how their cars would operate at the low temperatures, but they now have an entire race worth to use. Thanks to the availability of that data collected last season in Nevada, the Ferrari engineers have been able to significantly refine the mathematical model of energy and heat transmission within the tread of the tyres, which varies depending on the compound used. What that means is that Ferrari have been able to make mechanical changes to things like their suspension setup, which will help with tyre heating, and they'll be confident in turning up at Las Vegas with their setup already most of the way there. That confidence is also allowing them to bring some upgrades, which is a big surprise this late in the season, but with a championship still up for grabs, it could be a worthwhile move. They're going to fit a new front wing, which will likely be similar to the Monza one, meaning it will be as aerodynamically efficient as possible, providing just enough downforce to make it around the tight street track turns, but as skinny as possible to increase the SF24's top speed. It will also be much lighter than the one they used in Monza, thanks to advances in the material properties. Don't be surprised if while watching onboard you see some flexing in the front wing as well. Any flex that the teams can sneak in will be incredibly valuable, and as they've shown a number of times this season, the FIA tests are easy to work around, and if anyone has found a workaround to the current tests, Las Vegas would be the perfect place to make use of it. Considering Ferrari are bringing a new wing, we can expect that they found a workaround. Interestingly, the team are also bringing an experimental part to the race weekend which isn't going to be used for this season. Ferrari will have an experimental floor available for Friday's free practice, which they'll use to test their development for 2025, getting a head start on the competition. For budget cap reasons, and the part only being useful for testing, there'll only be one floor available that, according to the team's plans, both drivers will have the opportunity to try for a run. Ferrari must be very confident in their pre-race simulation to willingly sacrifice a free practice session for each driver to test for next season. So with their new upgrades and the new simulation model, can Ferrari make some gains against McLaren? Well, on paper at least, Ferrari should be very strong in Las Vegas. Ferrari's car has great mechanical grip, so turns nicely in the slow-speed corners, and the engine seems to be pretty punchy out of the corners too, both vitally important to success in Las Vegas. This Constructors' Championship is far from over, but in Vegas at least, Ferrari look favourites to win the first of the remaining 3 rounds. Do you think the Scuderia can finally win a title after 15 years of waiting? Or can McLaren hold on to their lead? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you want to support us in bringing you daily F1 news, make sure to check out f1reverse.com, our merch store. There you'll find some sick designs to show off your racing passion. Until next time, drive safe and bye for now.